good morning, everyone. I would like to start first acknowledge the Gareirial of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. I'm absolutely excited to come here for the third time in a row, this time as a speaker. I have been here with the procurement team of BHP a couple of times before, and the atmosphere is absolutely amazing. The vibe and the thematics actually that we have the opportunity to discuss with people that is not only from Australia, from other countries that has the same challenges when it comes to particularly decarbonization, for me personally is absolutely amazing. As Vice President of Procurement Global Mining, I would like to talk about a topic that I've been related probably the last 12 years in BHP in different roles, a topic that is absolutely fundamental to deliver BHP execution strategy, a topic that is complex. It's complex to figure out the best way to get there, but it's a tremendous and enormous opportunity for the sector to bring more social value, but also to bring more competitiveness to the sector. It's clear that many in the global resource sector share the same challenges we face. At BHP, we seek to approach those challenges and bring about the step change that is required to enable the deployment of zero-emission equipment technologies and renewable power supply sources, focusing on three key themes: partnerships, innovation, and competitiveness. Let me first share some context around our operational decarbonization efforts. Since the 1990s, BHP has setting and achieving operational greenhouse gas emission targets. Our current goals and targets were recently updated and detailed in our 2024 Climate Transition Action Plan. We aim to achieve 30% reduction by 2030 of emissions, considering our baseline in 2020, and zero emissions by 2050. We are on track. However, the progress won't be linear because our business growth in both regions, the Americas and Australia, to continue to meet commodities demand, which somewhat ironically is amplified by the energy transition itself. The new wave of operational decarbonization journey is going to require more effort, more collaboration, and more investment. We estimate that a multi-billion-dollar spend is required to execute our operational plans for the next 5 years, $4 billion. Our strategy and the flow of those investments will go to basically two areas. One is displacing diesel at our operations, and the second one is switching or transitioning to renewable sources of power to provide the electricity that our operation needs. By supporting and investing in multiple potential pathways in these two areas, we are seeking to accelerate the deployment and the development of technology that will not only benefit BHP and our value chain, also the industry. This transition needs to hold up economically, though, for the sector to remain competitive. But no business can navigate this journey alone. This brings me to the first two ideas I have mentioned earlier: partnerships and innovation. To succeed, we must collaborate with our suppliers, industry stakeholders, and together ensure that technology developments advance at pace, but competitively as well. Partnership is a key enabler for innovation. Throughout my career in BHP, I have had the pleasure and luxury actually to work on different initiatives regarding sustainability: the economical side of sustainability, social and environmental. I had the opportunity to lead the team actually that we have in the Americas, the energy team, when we transitioned to fully renewable sources of power, but we made that decision at the beginning of the decade, being first mover in that space. Without exception, collaboration and innovation have been key to success. An example of this in action, in fiscal year 23, diesel represented 62% of BHP operational emissions. But as many of you know in this room, the technology to decarbonize our haul trucks and locomotive fleets is under development and not commercially ready. Given the need for the technology to be commercially available and viable, we must consider how do we get better, faster. Collaboration and innovation using BHP scales, the sector scale in Australia, capability and experience can be a force of positive change. Collaborations enable the opportunity to drive and progress high-impact activities. Supporting the progress and future of our industry requires we continue to seek our diverse partnerships and collaborate to solve this challenge before us. Collaboration across the industry with existing and new OEMs, exploring battery chemistries, partnering to develop viable charging solutions for our trucks are critical considerations for VHP in this plan. Our active collaborations include working with OEMs, but also with our peers, as we're doing with Rio Tinto in our Pilbara operations, trialing this calendar year our first battery electric truck. In doing so, we can receive early access to technology and technical learnings, test the technology viability on our mine sites, and engage in a two-way collaborative feedback, as has been discussed this morning here, to try to accelerate the transition. The OEMs have a unique opportunity to embed customer feedback and lessons learned early in the testing and development process of the products. Together, we all benefit from having an effective solution developed faster. It's good business for both. We currently have a number of initiatives underway to replace diesel in our operations. We are collaborating with Caterpillar on a zero-emission haul truck. We are thrilled to have secured the first Caterpillar Early Learner 793 battery electric truck, which will be operational in our Jimble Bar iron ore operation this year. We are also testing with Caterpillar dynamic energy transfer solutions, which transfer energy to diesel electric trucks and battery electric haul trucks, provide a flexible and innovative solution to charge while our trucks are on move. That's critical for productivity in our mines. We will be trialing this on the 793 fleet in iron ore, but also in our copper business in America, in Escondida, in the 798 ultra-class fleet. We commissioned an early release Liebherr 9400 electric excavator in our Jandy operation in Guayo, iron ore, and we are trialing 4 battery electric locos, 2 with Progress Rail, 2 with Wabtec, in our iron ore operations next year. Additionally, we have been encouraged by recent observation at both industry events and via public announcement that our competitors are also leveraging the power of partnerships. This is encouraging to progress on technological development for decarbonization of our sector. These are good and important initiatives, but there are still a number of unknowns and challenges to our future operations that must be considered and, more importantly, planned for. We need to think about access to power and how we manage power demand in the future of our mines. From an impact to mine planning standpoint, there are a number of considerations, including infrastructure installation, how we integrate a combination of static and dynamic charging in our pits, including determining optimal placement of static chargers and how to maximize the use of dynamic charging to ensure we consider the full ecosystem of electrification. Labor considerations as well, including the need for a specialized workforce required to maintain and operate electrified mining equipment when considering safe practices and standards. Technological maturity and potential challenges as equipment transitions from R&D to commercial production as well. There is another key consideration that can only be genuinely solved with collaboration, and that's interoperability. If we are to achieve widespread adoption of electrification by industry, power systems need to be suitable for all equipment, batteries and chargers, irrespective of the OEM. We have to do better because in a mining environment, the consequence of failing at interoperability extends to safety, operation, capital flows, integration, and productivity, and ultimately the access or the success story of the business. And this takes me to the third theme, competitiveness, how we ensure the long-term competitiveness of the business in this transition. Interoperability cannot be achieved in isolation. We see ourselves playing a key role in continuing to challenge the market, working alongside our partners, industry bodies, and mining peers to make a meaningful contribution towards interoperable solution that will positively contribute viability on the mining industry decarbonization goals. In 2023, we jointly established a mining task force through charging to develop a global standard for electrical mining solutions. This involved collaboration with peers and companies that are here, ABB, Komatsu, and Boliden, on a robotic automated connection device that provides an innovative solution to connect haul trucks to chargers without human intervention. This is an example about improving safety as well with these implementations. Examples like these are a testament of our ongoing commitment to industry collaborations to ensure the availability of technical and commercial solutions to decarbonize the heavy industry in mining. There are also proof that many of the suppliers and manufacturers within the resource sectors are deeply invested in the sorts of collaboration we'll need going forward. Of course, changes of this scale don't occur in a vacuum. As we succeed in reducing diesel displacement, demand for electricity will only increase, and significantly in our operations. At some of our operated assets, that could mean up to 4 times our current power supply usage. In terms of real action on climate change, that will seem to be just replacing one problem to other, which is why we are also focusing on the transition of renewable sources of power for our sites. As I mentioned before, last year we achieved 100% of renewable power sources for our operations in Spence and Escondida in Chile. Those operations demand roughly 8% of the electricity of the country. That was a huge project for BHP, but also for Chile. None of these two assets together actually represent about that 80% of the electricity demand. Through this massive achievement, we display 3 million tons per year of CO2, which is equivalent of 700,000 vehicles, or the emission of 700,000 vehicles. And here in Australia, we are on track for our VMA asset in Queensland to be fully supplied by renewable sources of power about 2027. Before I close, I would like to thank our partners, suppliers and peers in the room and in this conference who have worked with BHP on the initiative I have mentioned. I hope I have conveyed just how important collaboration and innovation is to BHP decarbonization journey, to addressing the challenges we face as a sector, and to ensure the transition to operational decarbonization is competitive as well. The journey we are all in is very complex and difficult. We don't have the solutions yet. But it becomes that bit easier if we work together and bring our different assets and different skill sets to the table. I encourage you all to please keep pushing ahead together, because it's the only way we get there competitively and with a sense of urgency. Thank you very much.